Who made that man, Gunner? I did, sir. He's my cousin. Who is that? He's an asshole, sir. I know that. What's his name? There's his name. Major Asshole. How many assholes we have on this ship? Yahoy! I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. This iconic scene from the 1980s cult classic Spaceballs shows where Dark Helmet refuses to set the proper foundation and instead of having a proper crew, decides to go for a ship full of assholes. And this all brought me to the quotation I received today. The secret of getting ahead is getting started, by Mark Twain. I'm going to interpret this as you must first lay the foundation. And I agree with this interpretation because without setting the groundwork, you're doomed to fail. Now I'm going to show this through three main points of a famous journalist, a mathematical theory, and finally, a book. So breaking news into our first point of Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite at age 23 joined the United Press Association and began to report on World War II. He was one of the very few journalists allowed to report on the D-Day invasion in Normandy. After World War II, he began to work for he decided to get into the risky and uncertain field of TV news, where he became the CBS evening anchor. Walter Cronkite had a couple of values that he had to bring to this new uncharted territory of television news. His idea of get the facts fast, keep them correct, and also educate his audience. His integrity in his journalistic skills using these facts was, in one instance, he waited 40 full minutes before announcing that President Kennedy had been assassinated because he wanted to make sure that he had all the facts in before making a wrong decision. This integrity that Walter Cronkite set the groundwork for future journalists to follow in his footsteps, to get the facts right and not just rush out there and get them wrong, but also to educate his audience at the same time. Now, getting crazy into the next point of chaos theory. The French mathematician in 1880s by the name of Henry Poincaré came up with the idea that the present determines the future. Or simply put, small effects have huge outcomes in the future. However, this theory wasn't very much useful at the time until the 1950s when they started to use it for trying to predict weather models, where small meteorological instances in the atmosphere were to create huge things, such as warmer air in the Sahara ended up creating hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico. We can see that by laying the groundwork early on, Henry Poincaré allowed our modern-day weathermen to only get the weather wrong some of the time. So splicing into my third point of the Atlantis series. In the Atlantis series, you have two warring alien races. You got the Serpentine Alliance, which, if you Star Trek fans are out there, are kind of like the Borg, where they try to assimilate every species known. Then we also have the Atlanteans, who are warring against the Serpentine Alliance. The leader of the Atlanteans is General Ares, where he comes to Earth 70,000 years ago and begins to splice in genetic information into the emerging human genome, so better prepare the humans against the oncoming Serpentine invasion. Later on, the Serpentine Alliance comes and invades Earth, and the humans are resistant against the Serpentine Alliance because General Ares set the groundwork early on, so that way humans could be resilient and successful. So wrapping up, we've talked about Walter Cronkite and how his integrity his integrity in journalism allowed future journalists to follow in his footsteps. We talked about chaos theory and how Henry Poincaré set the groundwork so that way our modern day weathermen can now predict the weather. And then we talked about the Atlantis series, where General Ares set the groundwork in the human genome, so that way we could be better protected against the Serpentine Alliance. And this all brought me to a quotation I received today. The secret of getting ahead is getting started by Mark Twain. And remember, in Spaceballs, having a ship full of assholes is a terrible foundation. Thank you.